Welcome back. Here right now on the campus of Washington-Holmes Technical Center in Chipley, Florida. It's the middle of the summer. Typically, you would think the educational system has sort of shut down. Teachers are sort of recharging their batteries, students enjoying that summer break. But in reality, right here on the campus of the Technical Center, we have a very exciting, a very robust educational opportunity going on, and we're here for Robotics Camp, here right now with Tonya Taylor, who is the director of the drafting program here at the Technical Center. Tonya, you've been on the show before. We've talked about the drafting program. Up to this year, I was unaware of this particular program that we're looking at today, Robotics Camp. What an exciting opportunity for middle school kids to be engaged in this program. There's so much to it. Talk a little bit about overall what the program is all about.
The program is all about students engaging in ideas of design and engineering and robotics. They'll come here with no idea of what a Lego Mindstorm robot is. They'll bring it in, they will design it. They do have some criteria that they have to meet, but they can supersede that and go beyond the idea. It's whatever their idea is, they'll come in, they'll program these for the certain obstacle course that we have here, and they'll have to go through 5 to 7. They'll score. We'll have a competition on Friday, and there will actually be medals. So they'll have a lot of fun, but it's all about the engineering and design and the process thought of how can I get from point A to B and how do I make this object work.
Now, we started yesterday on Monday, and you had Professor Rocket. Is that what he's called?
We call him the Rocket Man.
The Rocket Man. What is his name?
John
Hansel, I think it is.
John Hansel.
Yeah, you had the first half, I had the second half. John Hansel actually lives in Lynn Haven, Florida, just south of us here. He came up, spent the entire day. He brought, first of all, let me say this, that John spent a lot of his career at the NAVSEA operation down there at the Naval Base in Panama City. Right. This guy, probably the most proficient expert about rockets that I've certainly ever been around. There was not a question he couldn't answer. We're showing some video right now of what transpired yesterday. He brought in some actual live working rockets that he has built. Yes. He captured the imagination of these kids. Talk a little bit about what we saw yesterday.
Oh my gosh, he showed us videos of actual rocket launches that he performed and showed them the separations and the logistics of setting off one of these rockets, what would happen. And the children, well, they're not really children, they're young adults, loved this rocket camp. They couldn't get enough of it, and can we do it again next year, and how can we increase this? So that was a great opportunity for these individuals to see how they can simply set off a Coke bottle up into the air. So it was great.
It spent the first part of the day learning about theory, and as you pointed out, talking about some of John's history. Spent the middle part of the day building out of Coke bottles and cardboard and paper and hot glue what would become later in the day working launchable rockets, and we experienced some of that on the front lawn of the campus. So yesterday was about rockets. Today, as you point out, Lego, a very large sponsor of this effort, has actually provided these kits to us, and we'll talk about some of the other sponsors and the people who make this happen a little bit later, because I don't want to leave anybody out. But when we think Lego, we think of the 5-year-old in the living room building the castle or the boat. But in this case, we're talking about a very high-tech educational tool. You're holding one of those right now. When I came in this morning, the kids were as you say, designing their robot.
Right.
They have tasks, and behind us are some playing fields, for lack of a better term, obstacle courses, and they have to design their robot and then build it, program it, and then ultimately compete against each other at the end of the week.
Right.
For these tasks that are behind us, what are we looking at right here?
Right here we're looking at, they've decided that they needed an arm in order to pick up an object. They need a blade in order to push an object. Later on, they'll add a light sensor. That way, they've got to follow a certain path. They'll also have a sensor on the back that tells them they don't need to back up into an object. It's a really simple but very complex piece of equipment, and it even amazes me the new things that they can come up with.
So this is a mini computer sitting right here on this piece of
Right.
Lego.
This portion right here is called the brick. So it has your battery pack, and this is where they'll go into a computer within the program, within the drafting program, and they will design that process, how they're going to compete, and then they'll download it into this brick, and then it will perform that task.
Let's talk a little bit about who participates. What age groups, to which age groups is this program open?
Okay, this year we have anywhere from those entering the 6th grade to the 8th grade.
So 11 to 13?
Correct.
Maybe 14. And I asked you earlier, I guess yesterday, what the criteria was. I presumed these people had to be award winners in their own right, that they had to be valedictorians, that they had to be members of the chess club or some other, cerebral organization. You point out this is open to the entire student bodies of the schools which these people attend.
Right. We have students this year from Bay County, Washington County, of course, Jackson County, and Holmes County. So, no, this is open to any individual. All should be introduced to somewhat of this. If they're interested, they should be introduced and have a chance to come in and design and program.
Now, is there any cost to the individual student to attend?
No, this is free to the students. They are fed very well. We have certain businesses that sponsor their lunches, and we appreciate that very much. We have plenty of snacks. Every once in a while, they just need a brain moment where we can just walk out in the grass and play a little bit of Frisbee. So this camp is just fascinating and fun, and we are on full go the entire time.
Now, this is an elective program, which means, again, that they and their parents decided this would be a good time spent
Yes.
for them during their summer vacation. Typically, how many people would be enrolled in this class, and how many do you have now?
Typically, we have 30. We have 30 slots, but it grows very fast. And right now, presently, we have 36, and I expect 2 more tomorrow.
So the better part of 40 kids coming away with an appreciation, certainly a better knowledge of science in general. In the classroom, you were just talking about 3D printing. You were talking about 3D scanning. We're talking about robotics. We're talking about rocketry. Not subjects that are typically taught during the school year, certainly, and with our focus on the testing processes which we have now adopted. Certainly, this level of science is simply not addressed. So these kids, 11, 12, 13 years old, I know I didn't have those opportunities when I was 11 years old.
No, we probably did, but they were so far away that our parents didn't take us to them or could not. But here in our area, we offer something that is so fun and fascinating and challenging. It is a challenge that we're finding that we're having them come from all walks. And we hope to, later on, develop camps for older students so that we can find more challenges that are higher. So let's move forward.
How long have you been offering the robotics camp here?
This is our 2nd annual event.
Okay.
So this will be a yearly event, and it's always in the middle of June or July.
Okay. So after the craziness of the 4th of July, and the kids have already had several weeks to enjoy the summer, in many cases they don't really feel badly about having to come and spend a week in the air conditioning. Although yesterday, shooting off the rockets, it was pretty warm out there.
It was very warm.
We say that it's free, but there's no such thing as a free lunch, and so I know that there's probably quite a lot of cost associated with this. I know there are some grant processes that you go through. Who pays the freight? Who actually, let's start at the beginning. What do you think this costs to put on for this week?
The grants alone for the robots should be somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $7,000.
Okay, and that's, now, Lego, do they provide some of this stuff or donate some of this?
Our grant writer, Stephanie Holly, wrote a grant, and we fulfilled all of that, and we're given that grant. So then we could order these robots, and they came in.
She is very proud. She let us know about this a couple of weeks ago so that we would be here covering it. And so now that you say that, it makes sense. If she was the one behind that grant, she has every right to feel very proud.
We are so thankful, and we're very proud of her. The fact that we could do this, we just couldn't do it without her.
So $6,000 or $7,000. But now yesterday, John Hansel, with the Rocket program, was there a cost associated with that?
No, he devoted that.
So you've got a guy who's taking his own time, and he's coming up here, spending the day, and enjoying every minute of it. I dare say he had more fun than the kids had.
Yes, and that is amazing to watch as an adult, to watch these students perform these tasks. You can have so much fun, and it's just endless and open.
So yesterday we enjoyed John Hansel and the Rocket program. Today we're designing, programming, building, and even testing these robots. Looking at the schedule, you're going to be doing more of this same that you did today on tomorrow, and Friday ultimately culminating in the competition. Beyond bragging rights, what do the winners get of the competition?
They will go away with gold medals, silver medals, and bronze medals. Their team, which is a team of 4 to 5 individuals, will each receive their gold medal or whatever the medaling is.
I'm in media, and I hate to admit the fact that I didn't know about this program. Even more so that this is your second year, and I live right here in this community. What, if anything, are you guys doing to let the world know that you're doing this?
Well, you're one of our avenues. We will outreach with newspapers and, of course, the radio. So we're trying our best, and word of mouth. The students alone, just word of mouth, telling each other and their peers what we're doing.
It makes total sense. I guess that you send an advocate or at least literature to the individual schools in those 4 counties you mentioned to try to get this interest?
Right. Student Services will contact the middle schools and tell them what we're about to do and how long it will last, and then the schools will provide us with the names and telephone numbers of those individuals that are interested. We contact them, they're on the list, so then they will attend camp.
Well, you've got a full class, more than a full class, so I guess the execution on the part of the schools is happening, and they are
Right.
acquiring those students for
And
you.
we appreciate that very, very much.
Again, middle schools, basically 11 to 12 and 13-year-olds. Going forward, what do you see? Obviously, a successful program, if what I've seen the last couple of days is any indication. Ultimately, what would you like to see? An extended classroom, maybe multiple groups that come through during the summer? What would you like?
Yes, we'd love to be able to do several weeks of different grade levels, and with even more powerful robots, much larger competition. So that would be a great opportunity for the students in our area.
Standing right here this morning, had a young lady ask you if this would soon be available to younger groups. Apparently last year she would have liked to have come, but was too young.
Correct.
To waste that kind of enthusiasm, to waste that kind of proactiveness on the part of a 10-year-old, shame on us.
Yes.
What can we do going forward? Who do we talk to? What groups do we enlist? Is it school boards? Is it school systems? Who do we talk to?
We need to talk to businesses. We need to talk to Chamber of Commerce. We need to let the entire community, not just Washington County, but counties surrounding us, what is available, and ask for their input. What would you like to see in a robotics camp? Then we can design that and move forward.
Would it not be a prudent measure to, as you point out, talk to corporations, talk to businesses who ultimately employ people who need these skills and get their input? If as an advisory board, perhaps just for input as to what they are looking for in the future as far as employees, and get their input. I can't imagine that you would wait until somebody's 18 or 19 or 20 years old to get them interested in this to acquire an employee. This takes germination, incubation at a very early age, which is that group of people to whom you're talking today.
Right.